On this week's episode of 3 Dad Bods, I've always thought this would be incredible, yet kind of scary, and that's the running of the bulls in Spain.
Oh, yeah.
That was what I was thinking
think
about, too.
that would be an incredible event.
That would be cool, but I'm pretty sure I would end up with a bull's horn up my ass.
Sarcastic, witty, and not afraid to mix it up. Pop open a cold one and welcome to 3 Dad Bods.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of 3 Dad Bods with Brent, Carl, and Sean. Happy hour lost for Carl and I. Sean is living in an area that is realistic, intelligent, and really got tired of doing all the stupid stuff of this time change. Why do we do this? It is absolutely stupid.
No idea.
I've never
don't know,
met
we
anybody that was like, oh, I can't wait till the time changes. I just love it.
Why don't we just, I don't care what they leave it at, but I mean,
Exactly.
I don't even mind it the way it is right now, but I just want them to leave it and stop messing around with it.
Why is it that every state has said they want to do it, but it's the federal government that has to give the authority to do it?
I don't think,
I think each
is that
state
how it works?
decides it.
I don't
It
know
is.
that it is.
Yeah, it
No,
is.
each state
It is.
decides it if they want it or
No,
not.
it doesn't. Tennessee has passed a resolution for it. Several states have passed it, but it's the federal government that's been holding it up, saying you can't do that yet.
I'm gonna
Google it.
look it up.
Huh.
Look it up. I'm telling you.
Interesting.
It
well,
is absolutely ridiculous.
As always, if that's true, it's just an overstepping of federal power. And
Oh, okay, this is what it says. If the state chooses to observe daylight savings time, it must begin and end on a federally mandated dates. So it's up to the states.
so if they decide not to, they can. But if they
Right.
do, it has to happen on the official
Date of change.
date of change.
Yeah.
So I think the resolution, Brent, that you're talking about is willingness to do it, but they didn't have the cojones to actually do it.
So, guys, let's talk about bucket lists. We kind of touched on this a little bit. Sean kind of brought up one of the things that he's actually done off of his bucket list a couple episodes ago with doing the baseball kids camp with the Arizona Diamondback. Or no, that was an adult camp, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, we behaved like children.
But we've heard many times, and there's been movies about it of ideal things that we want to do while we're here on this revolving planet here before we pass on. Exciting things, and we all have different likes. We all have different interests. For me, mine are kind of more based on sports events, and that's what I enjoy. Those are things that I would like to do myself. So I thought, what we could do is kind of go over some ideas that we've heard from other people that may not necessarily be our own ideas, but maybe some cool thoughts and ideas to kind of throw out there and get the mind kind of rolling and going and stuff like that. So who wants to start? Who's got a list?
Yeah.
I got one if we're ready. Or you can.
Well, go ahead
Carl.
if you're ready. I mean, we're
All right.
all ready, but
Knock yourself out.
yeah.
So
volunteering.
I mentioned that mine kind of revolve around sports. I read a story once about a guy and his dad who went and visited all the Major League Baseball parks and saw a game there. I thought it was really cool because as we mentioned on past episodes, I'm intrigued by stadiums and arenas and especially some of the older ones like Fenway Park that have a lot of history, Wrigley Field that have a lot of history and stuff. So I came across an article that was on, it's called yardbarker.com. And it's sporting events that should be on your bucket list. The first one, and this is kind of an event that here I live in a city called Goodlettsville, which is around Nashville. And Goodlettsville has been notorious for their Little League baseball teams. And so one of the things that they have on here is seeing the Little League World Series, which is in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. And I don't know if you guys have ever watched it on TV. I've watched it many times just because here in Goodlettsville, we've had several teams that have gone, and in the Nashville area, there's been invested interest in watching it. But I love watching the Little League World Series. It's pure sports at its finest in youth sports, and so I think actually attending Little League World Series would be fantastic.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
I'd like to be 12 again and actually play in it.
dude, it'd be insane to be around that atmosphere and everything there. It'd just be so cool. And they treat the boys like rock stars. I mean, they have the time of their lives, the amount of garb that they get. They get to visit with former baseball players who were part of the Little League World Series. It's just an awesome event. It really is.
Didn't they have an issue a few years ago where a Cuban kid ended up being like 30 years old?
Yeah.
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 Something like that.
It's like a grown man out there pitching, you know?
He wasn't quite that old, but he ended up being like 20 years old or something like that, if I remember right. Yeah, that's crazy.
One that Sean was kind of a part of, the World Series. That's on a lot of people's bucket list. I would love to just go see a World Series, be a part of that, especially like a final game where they do the trophy presentation. I think that'd be incredible. That'd be absolutely awesome to be a part of. And then along that,
teams, though.
even I honestly wouldn't care just to be at a World Series. It is a World Series. You know,
it's
fantastic.
pretty cool. It's really I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun. It's just one of those things that it's kind of unique, and people are either really excited or they're heartbroken. It's pretty cool.
Who's it? The Cleveland Browns, though. I'd take a pass.
That's football.
That's a different story.
World Series.
They wouldn't be able to be in the World Series. I'm sorry, Carl.
What did you think he said? World Series versus
I thought he meant
NFL
Super Bowl.
Series?
World Series
okay.
is baseball. World Series is baseball. Okay. That's the one where they throw the ball from a mound.
Yeah, I know.
It's round.
Now, a Super Bowl would also be
stitching.
equally as fantastic, too, to attend not just the Super Bowl itself, but the events that are around the city during the Super Bowl. And
the events
Sean,
are a lot
you've
of
been
fun.
in the cities and stuff.
The events are cool.
Yeah.
Especially like they have a like a Super Bowl
Village, isn't it?
Village, but the thing that I'm thinking of specifically is they have the food of the NFL or food of the Super Bowl, and you go around and sample different things from the different NFL cities. So it's pretty cool. So they have chefs doing that, so you just bring your tickets around, and it's pretty cool. That's pretty cool too.
That would be
okay.
nice.
So I got a question, Brent. What would you prefer then, a Iron Bowl game with Auburn, or Alabama, Tennessee at Neyland Stadium, or going to a Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
You've already been to an Alabama Tennessee game, haven't you?
Well, and also because
no, you didn't go to that. Your son did, right?
No, but I've seen Alabama Tennessee before.
In person?
Yeah. I went when Dooley was coach, and it was just an absolute ass whooping. But the reason why is because Tennessee and Alabama, two teams, happens every year as part of the season, okay? The Super Bowl is the pinnacle of football. It's what every professional football player, every college football player, every
college
youth
player,
football
Little
player
League,
wants to
every
be
football player
in the Super Bowl. Yeah, absolutely. And so that's why I would pick the Super Bowl. Now, if you were to ask me, would I pick the Super Bowl or the national championship? That might be a little different. That would be a hard decision. That would be
especially
really hard
with
decision.
the new expanded 12 team. Oh man, if the Utes were in the national championship or my Cougars were in the national championship, there is no NFL game that would beat that. Period. not even in history.
And I think, like you're talking about, I would lean more towards the college national championship because I enjoy college football more than professional football, just because the game is just different.
100%. Yeah.
All right. Next one is one that my nephew and niece have actually done. I've always thought this would be incredible, yet kind of scary, and that's the running of the bulls in Spain.
Oh, yeah. That was one I was thinking about, too.
That would be an incredible event.
That would be cool, but I'm pretty sure I would end up with a bull's horn up my ass. And I don't think I'd
Who's faster, me or Sean? Audience, who do you think would win in a race?
I gotta go with me.
I would go with Sean, too.
Maybe, but if I lose the weight, Sean, if I lose 100 pounds, I think I could beat your ass.
If you lose 100 pounds, you're still going to be 100 pounds heavier than I am.
It doesn't matter. I'm still a better athlete. I'll beat your ass. Brent's got us both right now, unfortunately.
I'd smoke both of you. I would be safe from them bulls. I would take the chance.
You would not be safe. What we should do is we'd give me a head start, then Sean, and then you would come out.
Bull's not bull thinks you're another bull. He's not going to hit you.
He's not going to hit me.
Look,
he's going to hit.
If we had a 200-yard race and I would give you a 100-yard head start, I would still beat you.
The only thing I'd be worried about is the bull might think I'm attractive.
Don't wear red.
Yeah, that'd be worrisome.
If there's a 2,000-pound bull behind me,
like
I'm falling on the ground. I'm falling on the ground.
I think that's bears. I think that's bears.
Hit the ground and roll, baby.
Hey, where'd that bull go? Oh, he's having his way with Carl.
I'm rolling, man. I'm just rolling.
Yeah, you'd be rolling, all right.
Rolling down the road.
Where's Carl at?
There he is. Is that big blob rolling down the hill? That's Carl.
Carl's now Mrs. Bull.
I'd put my arms around my head like that, and I'd be safe. I'd be safe.
All right, anyway, guys. Next one I have here, and I've actually attended this, but I think it's awesome. And that is the NCAA tournament opening weekend.
Mm-hmm. It is fun.
Not the now. I think the final will be fun and cool to see. But man, that opening weekend is when all these crazy upsets happen, and you see some of the very best basketball you've ever seen before.
Okay,
you get to see those little teams playing their heart out against the Giants, and that is fun.
No, I agree with that as far as the NCAA tournament. Too bad you can't be at all the different sites, but here's one I'm excited about. So Utah fans should be too, because they got some good recruits just the other day from here in the state. But the Big 12 conference tournament in the next few years,
Kansas City,
is going to be freaking dynamite. You're going to be in Kansas City with great barbecue. That's why I'm excited. And then, I mean, the teams that are going to be in the Big 12, I mean, they are the best teams in arguably in the United States when it comes to basketball.
Look, you've got Arizona, Kansas, Baylor, Texas Tech. Now, the Gonzaga talks are still going on.
Yeah, that's legit.
Gonzaga into that mix right there. Oh my God. And then
UConn, they're talking UConn too.
Absolutely.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That's your Mark's baby. He's from Connecticut. Yeah.
You got Cincinnati, that's been a basketball school.
Yeah.
You got Houston, which has been in the top 5 in the last 4 years.
Right.
Like the home of Hakeem Olajuwon. Yeah.
You may be right there, Carl. That tournament may be some of the very best basketball you could watch.
I think the Big 12 will get 10 or 12 teams in each year too, and even. I mean, that's how are you not?
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens, huh?
Well, I'm not. I'm not thinking BYU or Utah are going to make any waves at first, but I mean, still, it's going to get better. The recruiting. I mean, who wouldn't want to play? And then on top of it, I mean, I know he's going to be pandering to Gen Z, so they're going to make kind of musical spectacles, and it sounds like it's going to just be a blast. It'll be a fun time. So the three of us need to go. That's all I can say. We need to go.
That would be a lot of fun.
That'd be a good one. All right, guys. The next one I have here is not so much for the what happens during it, but it's for the event itself and being there in the atmosphere. And that is the Kentucky Derby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You just want to go
dress
and drink
up in the
mint
suits,
juleps.
the mint juleps there, to be part of that incredible, amazing, with the big hats.
What kind of dress would you wear?
I went on a tour at Churchill Downs. That was a fascinating tour.
Yeah,
I actually.
It's a beautiful place, isn't it?
Yeah, and so I was like, wow, this would be an event.
Okay,
yeah.
When you took the tour, did they have the house horse there when you took the tour?
No.
So there's a house that lives on site there, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm telling, dude, this animal was the most muscular animal I have ever seen in my life. Like, you could just see his tone of his, like, incredible, absolutely amazing, just huge animal. And his buddy was a little miniature Shetland pony that was right next to him. I was like,
did that calm him down?
Yeah, like his little, oh, I'm so great. Look at me and this little puny horse next to me. But I thought that was awesome, man.
Brent's starting to worry me a little bit.
Sounds like you were turned on. Yeah. It sounds like you got really turned on.
Sounds like he had a good time.
No, look.
Brent's like, I wish I was that little pony.
Dude, that
Maybe
horse
was the little pony.
Looking at a horse is like looking at a horse, but looking at that horse right there, that dude worked out.
No, that'd be fun. That would be really fun. I mean, it's at a huge stadium. I mean, I thought football stadiums were big. This thing is like a NASCAR stadium.
The track is a freaking mile long. I mean,
I thought it was 2 miles long.
Kentucky might be. I can't remember if Churchill Downs is a mile or the Derby is. I can't remember. I know that the three major horse races, they're all different lengths, but I don't remember which one's which.
Well, they have a museum that you go to after the tour, so you go through.
They're all a mile. It's a mile track.
I thought it was 2 miles. Oh, I thought it was.
No, they're all a mile.
Look it up.
It's the fastest mile.
Is Belmont longer then? Is that
they're all?
I don't remember. You'd have to look.
Yeah.
Anyway, it'd be fun to bet. It'd be good to bet too. The three of us all betting on the ponies. That'd be awesome.
All right, couple more, and then I'll finish up my stuff here.
You can do that if you're not in Utah. It's called off-track betting. Pretty common.
I can do it
I bet on the Greyhounds in Arizona.
Betting's legal in Tennessee.
That was kind of fun. So,
all right. So, Sean, I got one that we can do. Okay. This has gone on since 1992 in Finland. Every year, it is the wife carrying world championships.
Nice. Nice.
They set up an obstacle course, and you have to do the obstacle course with your wife as you're carrying her, either on your back or flip her around, or she cannot touch the ground.
That
sounds fun.
Some motivation to get married.
Carl, you need to get going.
Get after it. Yeah.
We could have.
Where's that? In Finland?
We could have a wife carrying threesome. Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right.
Sean,
I didn't mean that. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant.
Yes, you did.
We're gonna talk to Rachel.
That's not what I meant.
Right. So those are some ideas that I came up with there. Carl, why don't you go ahead?
Okay.
What you got?
All right. Okay. So I was watching. It was kind of a cool one. I was listening to an actual podcast called the Bucket List Podcast. It turned out to be a travel guy, which is smart. But they went to an area that I was kind of interested in, always have been interested in, Morocco. And basically he was just talking about the country. There's a lot of things you can do there. And one of them is what I thought was really cool is you see these pictures a lot. Indiana Jones kind of did it, where the guy's like, playing the flute and trying to get the cobra to obey him. And then, that particular market is an actual real market in Old Town Morocco called Marrakesh Medina. And then there's a real
talking about like the snake dancing? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, wow.
Yeah. One of the biggest mosques in history, called the Hassan II Mosque, is also located in Marrakesh. And there's there's a famous garden called the Jama El Fana Gardens, which looked really interesting. I had no idea some of these places existed. And then the other thing that was really cool is also Marrakesh is like a few hours. Well, I mean, it's more than a few hours, but if you go way out into the desert, that's the beginning of the Sahara, when you get close to the Algiers border, that's where the actual sand dunes that are famous that you see with, you take your camel out into the desert. And anyway, that's where the beginning of the Sahara really is. And the other thing I noticed too, I was watching this, it looks a lot like Arizona in a lot of places too. So anyway, watching this, and I was like, you know what? I love Moroccan food. This would be a fantastic trip. And so, but anyway, that they said that was a bucket list item. And then that started making me think about some of the bucket list ideas I had. And so I sat down and put a list together. One thing, this is something I looked at a few years ago, and I got my brother all excited about it. I was watching these guys sea-doo across from Miami to the Bahamas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they basically on ski-doos went all the way from Miami, Port of Miami, and then there's a little island before you get to Nassau. I think some cruise ships stop at. I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's just sailboats that stop at this one. It's Benami, Bahamas. Yeah, it's like 40 or 50 miles from Miami, so it's not far. And then they go another 40 or 50 miles the same day, or you can stop at that island and then the next day get to Nassau, and then from there you can take a couple weeks with a support craft. So you have like your wives come from behind you with a regular, motorboat, and then you guys get to Nassau. You have a day shopping, making the ladies happy. Then you jump back in the boat.
Nassau's a dump, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And then you go to the different cays throughout the islands. You have a blast. I mean, there's so many places that you can visit. And then, you get back the same way. And anyway, that's always been kind of a dream trip. That's cool. The other one, and this one, Sean, I think you'll respect, is the religious history tour. So
that'd be cool.
Want to go to first stop at Rome, then go to Istanbul, and then visit Troy, just because of historical value. Then head to Jerusalem, and then from Cairo go to Alexandria, and then visit Malta, then Syracuse, Pompeii, Naples, then back to Rome. So
that would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be an awesome trip?
You go from Cairo to Alexandria and not the other way around. That's interesting.
Well, just because you're going from Jerusalem to Cairo, but I mean that trip is impossible today. So can you imagine?
Give it a few months.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
That's like Cradle of Civilization tour right there, man. That
would be amazing. Incredible. I'd love that.
I've always wanted to do that. And why just hit Jerusalem? Why not just hit all of them? That would be so fun. The other one is European tour. So this would be more a cultural / history, but more cultural, I think, now. But London, then Paris, Madrid, Marseille, Tuscany for a week. I'd love
Rome's
just
always been on our bucket list to visit Rome.
Yeah, I want to go to a Tuscan town, little town off the coast there in and up in Italy, and then just sit for 6 hours eating dinner one night. And then go to Berlin, Stockholm, Sweden, and then.
So this would all be one trip.
Yeah.
How long would it take?
About a month.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen those cruises that go around the world? They are like 6-month cruises.
It take a year, 6 months to a year.
It takes almost a year, from what I understand.
That'd be incredible, dude.
I want to go to Antarctica.
The other one would be kind of fun. This is one I really like watching some of these people who decide to get a boat, kind of like the RV guys that all of a sudden then cruise around the world, and then they do a video log of the entire journey, getting the boat, building up the boat. Well, there's one, so it really kind of got me interested in an idea of just, and I don't want to do a full 6 months or a year or own a boat. They're a pain in the ass and they cost a lot of money and you have to fix everything all the time. But you can hire a captain and a cook, and then you could go down to like Tahiti. Instead of staying in all the tourist locations, you get 3 or 4 couples and you rent one of these catamarans. And then from what I understand, mind-blowing excursion would be 2 weeks in the Tahitian Islands, scuba diving, hitting all the different small islands that you can't get to normally. I mean, from what I understand, the sea life down there is incredible. That's one, Sean, you'd probably enjoy a lot too.
I've got a friend that has done that. He was actually a former Navy SEAL, and he would go down and spend a month on a boat just going around the different islands. He'd do that in the Pacific, and then next year he'd do it in the Caribbean and go, from the U.S. Virgin Islands to, other places. And he always had a really good time. He would go down and get drunk and go diving. I'm like, dude, you're not supposed to do that. And he's like, you don't even know the kind of crap we did in the Navy. I'm like, okay, whatever.
This one is one I might actually accomplish the next year or two. So you said something about the World Series. Well, one thing I've been really involved with my son with running, and some of the big deal to college athletes is running at Hayward Field. Do you guys know what university that is, by the way?
I have no idea.
Okay, where did Prefontaine run? Do you guys know who that is? Yeah,
that was exactly. Oregon. Yeah.
So Oregon just did a $200 million upgrade on their track stadium, and it's
you mean
one
Nike
of the
did.
Yeah. Well, Nike did.
Nike
yes.
University.
Well, and now most of the world events are going to be in the future at this stadium because it's just incredible. So my son wants to run in a steeplechase there. Sean, go yours.
So I'll go through them kind of quick, but the as far as destinations that I want to be able to hit, probably the first one is Egypt, and then a side
My brother-in-law's
trip to that
there now.
Oh, I would love it. My older brother Alan has been there. Really cool. He's got some great pictures. I've got a friend that is a doctor in Cairo, and he keeps telling me all the time, hey, if you come out here, come out, stay with me, and I'll show you a good time. And I'm not sure what that means, but no, I'm
the
kidding.
Bulls.
No.
Do you have a muscular horse?
Anyway,
he's a horse breeder.
He's a diver too, and so we would go diving in the Red Sea. So that would be really cool.
Pretty cool.
There's a blue hole in the Red Sea that would be really cool to go see. So a blue hole, if you don't know what those are, they're natural sunken caverns in the ocean, and so they're from the outside looking in, they are just these darker blue places in the ocean, and there's some in the Caribbean.
Going in my head right now.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, there's actually a lot of people who have died going to the blue hole in the Red Sea. It's actually a fairly dangerous dive, but it's still something that I would really like to be able to do. So the second one on there, as far as traveling goes,
I think we should be commended for not saying what we've been thinking.
Probably there's some holes in Tijuana you want to avoid too.
I think there's a Red Sea there too.
You guys. All right.
Oh man, I'm in so much trouble. Anyway, go ahead.
Moving on. Kind of like you, Carl. I want to see. I would like to go to Israel. very much would like to be able to go there for a long period of time, kind of like your month-long trip through Europe. I would like to do a month-long trip that would basically go from Egypt up the Mediterranean coast and then make my way up to Istanbul.
Used to be Constantinople.
Used to be Constantinople. Used to be the center of.
Boy, Brent, you're a
smart
bad
ass.
boy. You need to sit in the corner tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
That would be
center
awesome.
of the Byzantine Empire, center of the Greek Orthodox Church.
One of the cool things about Constantinople is just how many different civilizations have controlled that city. Then on top of that, wouldn't it be cool to go into that big bazaar where all
market.
It's world famous. Yeah, that market.
It would be just amazing.
And
amazing. And
have you ever had Turkish coffee? Not that you admitted being
nope.
very active.
It is the pure Turkish coffee is some of the most expensive coffee that you can get with the highest caffeine content. And so you've had it. So it's actually yellow, isn't it, Carl? It's not like a normal coffee color.
Yeah, you know why?
They warm it with sand, actually, too.
They mix it with monkey piss.
Oh, they do not.
I saw it in Indiana Jones.
The other really cool thing to do is the hookahs. Those are kind of fun as well. Except I wouldn't recommend you smoke tobacco, young people. It's not good for you. I saw
some hookahs in Phoenix once. It was pretty unusual. Anyway.
Not those kind of hookahs.
Oh,
come on. All right, Sean, we're sorry for
Carl made
ruining.
A couple of them in Tijuana. Okay, so a couple more. So I would love to go see some sites that are have something to do with my ancestry. So I'd like to be able to go to England and see where my great grandfather came from, and also to Denmark, where my other great grandfather came from before they immigrated to the U.S. So that would be really cool. They my grandpa on my mom's side, who was Danish. It's kind of weird. He's Danish, but he was in the Prussian Navy, and he was born and lived on an island in Denmark called Fjord Island, and it's just right where the German and Danish border is. But it's anyway. I think that would be really, really cool. I'd like to restore a '56 Chevy or a 1970 F100 truck.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I want to. I'd like to meet Kurt Russell, which is different than something that you guys have had on your bucket list. Kurt Russell
what would you say to Kurt Russell if you met him right now?
Kurt Russell.
First of all, I think he's an incredible actor. But second of all, I think
Big Trouble in Little China was amazing.
Hey, Snake.
Yeah, no, Tombstone was amazing.
That was a damn good movie.
Yeah,
Tombstone was good.
He's a good dude. He's down to earth. From what I can tell, he's a libertarian, hardcore libertarian. And I don't know. I think it would just be really cool to have an hour-long conversation with the guy and just.
I'd rather meet Bill Murray.
That would be fun.
Would be awesome. Yeah.
That would be
Have
fun.
you ever seen that Netflix? Have you ever seen that Netflix documentary on Bill Murray? Like the stories, the urban legends.
I hear he's a pretty funny guy,
dude.
In real life too.
So
nice guy.
Actual stories of him. There was a guy going to the men's bathroom, standing at a urinal, and somebody comes and puts their hands right over the guy's eyes, and he turns around, and it's Bill Murray, and Bill looks at him and goes, "Nobody will ever believe your story," and he turned around and walked away.
I've heard that story. I've heard that before.
Yes.
I don't know if it's an urban legend or if it's real.
There's a thing on Netflix.
Well, here's
if that would have been me, I would have spun around and pissed all over Bill Murray just because I would have been freaked out.
Just the craziest stuff. He showed up to a house party once. Showed up with the band. He's like carrying in the bass drum into this house that had a band. He's like, hey, I'm with the band, sits down, okay, starts playing the drums, right? He's playing as his band's playing, like everybody in the house partying and stuff. The police come, okay? So the guy that owns the house goes out to the cops, and the cops are like, hey, you gotta tone it down a bit. It's too loud. And the guy goes, look, Bill Murray's in here, and he's playing the drums, and he wants to keep playing the drums. And the guy's like, no, I'm sorry, that's just not happening. No, he's like, no, come on back. So the guy comes back, and Bill Murray's back. They're just playing the drums. And he gets off the drums and walks over. He's like, hey, Mr. Officer, what's up, man? He's like, well, we need you to tone it down. He's like, no, man, you want a beer? Come join us, you know.
Mr. Murray, you shouldn't offer an officer who's on duty a beer. That's funny. That's pretty good.
You gotta watch the stories of Bill Murray on Netflix. It is.
I'll do
awesome.
I'll do it. Okay, the last couple of things that I've got on my list are leave behind a legacy of some kind. So either donate some money to a cause that I believe in or something like that. And then the last one is learn ancient Greek.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I'd like to be able
fraternity.
Who would you talk to, though, Sean?
Oh, it's not a matter of talking. It's being able to read people like Plato and in
Plato?
The language in which it was written.
Isn't that Pig Latin? Isn't that the same thing?
Ha.
It could be. I don't know.
Okay. A couple ones that I wanted to talk about before we get out of here. And you guys love your feedback on this time. One thing that Brent keeps bringing up, and I like the idea, is like this next year, for sure. This year's looks like it's too late now, but go out to Neyland Stadium and spend a weekend with Brent going to a UT game. That would be fantastic.
That would be a lot of fun.
To have you.
Yeah. The other one, which I think either you or we could go out to San Francisco, but I would love to see a 49er game or a Cardinal game during the NFL season with you two, where all three of us are there.
I actually saw the Cardinals play the 49ers in Sun Devil Stadium years ago. Mark and I went. That was his birthday present he got me once. It was fun. I had a blast.
It sounds like fun to hang out with you bozos. I've been to plenty of Cardinals or Viking games.
Exactly. That's
I've been to a lot of NFL games.
But I would love to go see a Vikings game in that new stadium. That place is amazing.
That place is amazing. I went to a couple of years ago, the game that they're calling the Minneapolis Miracle. Stephon Diggs caught that.
Oh
ball
yeah. The playoff game.
I was at that game. I went, and that place was. I think my ears rung for a week after that. It was crazy, amazing. It was a lot of fun.
The other thing is, if we can get our listenership over 1,000, I'd like to have a special weekend on a cruise, because Brent was really excited about the cruise he went on, and I would love to go back on a cruise again. So this could be down the road a ways, but if we can build it, and the audience could help us with this too, we'd love your help on this. If we can get a large enough following, then I'd like to take some of our fans that have been with us the longest and our families on a cruise. Doesn't have to be an extravagant one, something that 2 or 3 day cruise somewhere, but I think that'd be awesome. And then do a live show while we're there.
Go on one of those celebrity cruises with Gene Simmons.
Yeah. Well, that would actually be kind of fun, actually, if we were on one like that. But the other one, of course, is Big 12 championship. That would be fun. The three of us. That would be a blast. But,
that would be a lot of fun.
Anyway, there's some ideas. If you guys have any ideas, I'd love to hear them too.
See a game there. And hey, great episode, guys. Listeners, we would love to hear some of your bucket lists. Like if you accomplished them, or if you have something on your bucket list, tell us. We'd really like to hear some of your bucket list ideas that you got. But other than that, guys, great episode.
Thanks, guys. It's fun spending time with you guys again. I got to bail.
All right. See you later.
Thanks for listening to 3 Dad Bods, and make sure to catch their past episodes on Spotify, Apple, and Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure and leave a comment to help stroke their fragile egos.